Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Tom Tobin, president of the club, and we're thrilled to have you join us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel. Our club meets weekly at Laurel Lake for breakfast on Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30. Come out and join us for a meeting. We would love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact we're having on our local community and the world, visit our website, rotaryhudson.org. Enjoy the meeting today and help us share the message that Rotary connects the world.
Is this the City Club?
Here's the next one. James, do you need this? James, do you need this?
Oh, I think we need that for the Boy Scouts and the pledge.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am filling in for Mr. Ron Strobel, who's somewhere around this country or this world for a whole month. So look at my face. Get used to it. I'll be around for a month doing this, I think. So welcome, Rotary. John Adams has graciously volunteered to do the prayer this morning. He had no choice, by the way.
Hey, Rich, when did you learn that?
1 minute ago.
1 minute ago.
Anyone who knows me knows that I really like to prepare and make it look like it's spontaneous. So when I walked in, was getting my badge, and about 30 seconds ago learned I was doing the prayer. Please join me in this extemporaneous prayer of mine. Heavenly Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather in your name as we grow as individuals in our communities. And we thank you for the people in our lives and for our people that we're going to be dedicating, as I understand, into our membership today. Lord, Rotary is a very special collection of human beings and the service we do in our communities, and we thank you for the strength that you give us to do that. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen.
See, John, that wasn't so bad. You did a fine job, and that's what you get for coming in late. So, all right, next in line we have the Boy Scouts who are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test, correct?
Yes. Guys, let me give you a microphone here if you don't mind. So that our folks can...
Awesome. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we are going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Ben, you want to lead that?
Right behind you
Yes,
here, guys.
right behind you. Step back. Okay.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes. Okay. So before we do the four-way test, we're going to start each meeting how we do at our Scout troop by doing the Scout Oath and Law. So if you could join me in the Scout Oath. Yes. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Please join me in the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Thank you. And then as for the four-way test of all things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to the concerned? Third, will it be good friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Yes. Oh, this is your song.
You found the lyrics.
All right, y'all grab the mic.
Guys, you were going to lead?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good. Use that if you don't mind.
So if you've been here in the past 3 years, I always lead a song. This year's song's gonna be Wisconsin Milk. At summer camp, we always sing this. So I kind of will say stuff at the beginning, and then during the chorus, you're gonna do pat, clap, as I to the beat of it. So just keep up with it. It's all good. We're all friends here. Okay. So, give me a long M. Give me a short M. Don't give me no pop. Don't give me no tea. Just give me that milk. Moo, 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 moo. Wisconsin milk. Moo, 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 moo. So during that part, you're going to stick out your thumbs. like this. Get a partner. They're gonna pull on your thumbs. Okay. So yeah. So, and we're gonna continue all the way through it. Okay. So, give me a long I. Give me a short I. Don't give me no pop, no pop. Don't give me no tea, no tea. Just give me that milk. Moo, 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 moo. Wisconsin milk. Give me a long L. Give me a short L. Don't give me no pop, no pop. Don't give me no tea, no tea. Just give me that milk. Moo, 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 moo. Wisconsin milk. Moo, 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 moo. Give me a long K. Give me a short K. Don't give me no pop, no pop. Don't give me no tea, no tea. Just give me that milk. Moo, 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 moo. Wisconsin milk. Moo, 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 moo. Give me a long milk. Give me a short milk. Don't give me no pop, no pop. Don't give me no tea, no tea. Just give me that milk. Moo, 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 moo. Wisconsin milk. Moo, 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 moo. Hey!
Thank you very much.
Wisconsin natives in the room.
Figures that was made up by a bunch of cheeseheads. Isn't that your hometown or your home state, Mr. Page? All right, and next we have no visitors by the lovely Chris Barker, and we are proceeding to announce our president of the Hudson Rotary Club, or the Rotary Club of Hudson.
Great, thank you.
Oh, Tom Tobin.
Good morning, everyone. I think we might have one. We have one guest, Terry Bortnick, right? I mean, just y'all remember Terry? She's been here maybe 4 or 5 times now, and she's in the pipeline for membership, I understand. So we're working on that. As part of the report. Okay, let me grab one of the things. Little discombobulated this morning. James can testify. We had a very late night school board meeting last night, so I'm a little bleary-eyed, but made the report. Let's see. Couple of things, couple of housekeeping things. I understand that a number of us are having some difficulty hearing clearly through the PA system. I don't know if it's not loud enough or not. We're gonna. How is it this morning? How do I sound? I mean, I'm a little bit of a. I'm a little bit of a boomer, so you know. So I'll ask our speakers too to be cognizant of that and to speak up and speak into the microphone as clearly as possible. And we're going to try to figure out a way to make it work for everybody. That's number one. Number two, I understand that I made, I think, a few mistakes in getting some information out about today's meeting and in what was in the calendar. So we do not have Fine Day today. We will postpone that. And I thought we were having the service learning class delegation coming to us today. I think that's going to be next week. So I know a lot of you were planning, your meeting attendance around that. So come back next week. We got some good things, though, today. First of all, we have an induction of a new member. We're going to be inducting our own city manager, Jane Howington, today, and we're really excited about that. So, Jane, if you would come on up with Bill Wildridge, I believe, and a representative, and Dan too, okay, and a representative of our membership committee, Richard Warfield, and let's see, okay, get yourself.
By the way, Tom, what they call it is fake news about who is going to be speaking today. So.
Fake news, okay. Hold on, before I go any further, let me just mention one thing. Also, we are so happy to have Tom Page back. Tom has been gone for at least, how long has it been? You missed 4 meetings? 3 meetings with a replacement knee surgery. And I called him to get an update, and he made it sound like, I'm going to miss at least a couple more meetings. I pull in this morning at 6:30, and he's getting out of his car, and he's moving around, doesn't even need the cane. I mean, this guy is a trooper. So we're really happy to have him back, and yeah, we planned that whole Wisconsin thing just for you.
Won last Sunday.
Oh, is that right? All right.
So we needed Tom back because someone's got to carry all the equipment back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little while before we can put him back into audio-visual setups. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So we have a little bit of a ceremony here to induct Jane. And if I might read this piece here. By the way, just so you know, guys, there's about 5 different alternative induction ceremonies. So I think I've got the one that applies to us here, the one that we most typically use. All right, but bear with me here. Okay. Jane, you have been chosen to membership in the Rotary Club of Hudson because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in your vocation and because you manifest those qualities of head and heart which fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary to those with whom you come in contact. You are the representative of your vocation in this club, and any contribution of an educational value pertaining to that vocation must naturally come to us through you. On the other hand, you become the ambassador from us to your classification, and it becomes your duty to carry the ideals and principles of service to your work. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular to encourage and foster, first, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying by each Rotarian of his or her occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service by which every Rotarian to his personal, business, and community life. And fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service. I charge you to judge yourself by the Rotary 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do, which we've just read. The community will know and judge Rotary through your embodiment of it in character and service, and we accept you as a member because we believe our principles and organization to be safe in your keeping. We also expect much from you in help and inspiration, which will enable us to be better Rotarians, and with this hope, we most heartily offer you Rotary Fellowship. Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of our club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today, I welcome to our ranks and admit to membership Jane Howington. Rotarian Jane, you have been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling and to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify the true spirit of Rotary. I think I may be repeating myself a little bit here. I ask all members to rise. Okay. Rotarian Jane, in the name of the Rotary Club of Hudson, I now formally admit you to membership in this club and affix to your label our emblem. Rich, can you handle that, or who's? Okay. Fellow Rotarians, I commend to you our newest member, Rotarian Jane Howington, who has been loaned the classification of, well, city government, let's say. I think that's probably what that, and charge all of you to welcome him or her as the brand new, the newest Rotarian in the world. I told you it was a little.
It was 3:30 last night, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So I'm going to ask Jane to step forward and spend a couple minutes just introducing herself to the club. And here, let me hand it over to Jane.
Thank you, everyone, for your confidence in me. I can speak to you forever about the city, but it's really hard for me to speak about myself. So I'm me. I have a husband, 35 years, and a son who's just 30, and he has one child and another one that we just found out on Sunday on the way. So that was great. I've spent my career in public sector, and my whole family has a public sector background. It's something in our blood. My father was a city manager. He spent 10 years in Vietnam, working with the communities that had been flattened by the war and trying to rebuild them. And then he spent another 10 years in Russia when the wall went down, and he worked with communities trying to, see, I'm talking about somebody else. That's good. My sister was a school librarian. My brother was in the military. My mother was a volunteer all her life, and I'm a city manager as well. I serve on the board of directors at Cuyahoga Valley National Park for the Conservancy, and that's one of my other spare time duties. And I really appreciate being here, and that's all you really need to know about me.
Thank you very much. By the way, Jane and I have one, connection. I'm not sure I have with anyone else here. So Jane is a graduate of. She has her graduate degree in what is it, city planning or?
Well, I have one in urban planning.
Okay. Oh.
My bachelor's is in environmental science. My first master's is in planning. My second master's is in public administration, and my postgraduate is in public administration.
Okay. So at least one of those is from Miami University, my alma mater. And by the way, somehow imagine while Jane was down there in Oxford, Ohio, she also served as the city manager of Oxford, which is a place that's near and dear to my heart. So thank you very much, and we're very happy to have you as a new member. All right. All right. Andy, could I have you come on up and bring the delegation from our featured group today?
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. And if you need this for...
Absolutely. So today is our Scouts celebration, and so I'm going to bring up, we've got a whole group of them. We've got, obviously, if you remember, Rotary Club of Hudson sponsors two different groups. We sponsor the Cub Scout Pack 3321, and then we also sponsor Troop 321. And so we're going to start out with Troop 321, which of course you already had them. And by the way, how was that Wisconsin milk this morning? Okay? Was that ever good stuff? I mean, seriously, let's, right. So let's bring the Scouts up. I'm going to bring up first the Scout Master, Rob Searson, and he's going to do everything.
Good morning, everybody. So as Andy said, I'm Rob Searson. I'm the Scoutmaster of your Scout Troop 321. I'm here today with... Yeah, this is the correct one. I'm here today with some of our Scouts who you met already, including Nathan Herschel, who is our current Senior Patrol Leader, which means Nathan's the boss of the troop right now. I'm also here with Mike Pulte, back over there. Mike's our Troop Committee Chairman. And we are really happy to be here today. I always have a good time when we visit the Rotary meeting. Hopefully you got a chance to look at some of our gear. We decided to bring some of our stuff to show off this morning. So we've got some of our gear over here on the table. Oh, you know what? Oh, there we go.
So forward and back. Perfect. And if you want to shoot lasers at people.
Okay. I'll try not to shoot lasers at anybody. So here is the Scout Oath and Law. If I had planned better, I would have had this up on the screen when everyone was doing the Oath and Law this morning. So as we mentioned, this is kind of how the Pledge of Allegiance and the Oath and the Law are how we start every troop meeting. I just have a couple of slides I'm going to go over, and then the boys are going to go over some highlights from their year. So real briefly, the mission statement of the Boy Scouts of America is up here. And basically what it is preparing young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the oath and law that we just saw a minute ago. And then, so therefore, that becomes basically our mission statement in the troop as well. The aims of scouting, our objectives, character development, leadership development, citizenship training, and personal fitness. And to my mind, one of the most important ways that we make this whole program work and work really well is we embrace the concept of a youth-led organization. So we work really hard to have us adult leaders stay out of the way. And there's a quote here that I found some years ago in one of the Boy Scout or one of the BSA handbooks that I really liked a lot. Empowering boys to be leaders is really the core of scouting. They learn by doing. And what they do is lead their patrols and their troop. The boys themselves develop a troop program, then take responsibility for figuring out how they will achieve those goals. So what they do, in a nutshell, is they plan the entire year's worth of activities. We have a big meeting every August, September. We lay out an outline for what do you guys want to do during the upcoming year. And we lay out an outline of the activities and themes and things. So the boys plan all that. They also plan all the activities and the outings, so the specifics around each outing. And then these guys are the ones who lead the meetings. They lead the troop meetings every week. They lead the campouts. They lead all the other events that we do. And a lot of times parents will come in to visit or other folks will come in to visit and they'll see myself, the other assistant scoutmasters, Mr. Pulte, other parents. We're sitting off in the back and the boys are running everything. And the parents will say, well, shouldn't you guys be over there helping them out and doing stuff? No, it's all, they'll figure it out. They know what they're doing. They'll get it done. One important key aspect, though, and it's one that we have to remind ourselves in the troop quite often, is that when we say youth-led, it doesn't necessarily mean it's youth-defined. And I found these bullet points online on somebody's website years ago, and I really liked them a lot. So it's not just that we don't just put these guys in the cabin and shut the door and walk away. So the 4 bullet points that I really liked a lot were the adults, so the adult leaders in the troop, we help these guys maintain focus. So they do all the planning and things, but we kind of help them keep on track. The one phrase that actually Mr. Pulte likes a lot that I've heard a couple times is guardrails, right? So these guys decide what they're going to do and how they're going to do it and when they're going to do it, that kind of thing. And we help give them guardrails and guidelines. We help them maintain their focus. So if we see something kind of going astray, and again, as part of the aspect of being youth-led, we don't jump in the middle of it and say, guys, stop, do this, do it that way. We'll pull aside the senior patrol leader. We'll say, hey, Nathan, come here a second. It looks like your guys are a little off task right now. Maybe you want to refocus the boys, and then we'll step away again. Adults employ guided discovery, and what that is instead of telling them how to do it, we'll ask leading questions. Well, how do you guys think you should accomplish this task? Where do you guys think would be a better place to go camping next month? That kind of thing. So we prod and push inside the guardrails to help them discover what it is that they want to be doing or should be doing. We work really hard to respect the scouts' autonomy and their authority. So one of the things that we do is when we have a new senior patrol leader, we have an election every 6 months, we get a new senior patrol leader in the troop, and I'll have a meeting as the scoutmaster with that new leader, and we'll talk about things like what I can expect from you, but conversely, what can you expect from me, from your scoutmaster? And one of the important points that we make is, I've got your back. You're the boss. If you make a decision, if you guys talk about something and you decide B instead of A, that's fine. If no one's going to get hurt and it's not something ridiculous, that's it. That's what's going to happen. So we respect their autonomy and their authority as leaders of their troop. And then we also work to promote cooperative resolutions, right? Not everything goes to plan. Not everything goes perfectly. There's always conflicts, sometimes more than others. And we help these guys work through those conflicts. Okay, a little bit about our troop, and then I'll get out of their way here. We currently have 13 scouts. We're kind of at a low enrollment number, no membership number for the troop. We actually have 3 Eagle Scouts currently, and let's see, they're all standing right here. Raise your hand, guys. So Nathan, Ben, and Spencer are 3 of our newest Eagle Scouts. And then Jason's right on their heels. Jason's going to be an Eagle before you know it, too. One of the nice things is we have undertaken an invigorated recruiting effort. One of the things that we've struggled with the last few years is getting Cub Scouts to cross over and join our Boy Scout troop. And I always tell everybody, we know we have a great troop, but we're not great at getting the word out that we have a great troop. And we have a new adult leader who joined our troop this past year, who actually is a former Eagle Scout with 321. And he came to us one day and said, I'm here, what can I do to help? And we figured that the best way he could help was to help with recruiting. So he's been doing a fantastic job with going out and being in the bushes, talking to the Cub Scout packs, inviting the Cub Scouts to come join us in some of our activities. So they've been to the Scout cabin during some of our meetings. We've gone to some of their meetings, that kind of thing, to kind of get the word out to the community about how great Troop 321 is and some of the cool things that we do. We're expecting, based on what we're hearing, that in the next month or so, we're going to probably get somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 new Scouts, which is fantastic. We're going to almost double our size, which is really cool. So as I mentioned, this past year, since we met with you last year, we have welcomed 7 new Eagle Scouts. So these 3 guys here, and then 4 others since last April. I think it's not a record, but it's really close to the most number of Eagles that we've had in a 1-year span. So, and if you ever stop by the Scout cabin, which I know a lot of folks have, you know that we've got now 2 plaques. We've got 2 plaques on the wall in the cabin with the names of all the Eagles. And we actually had to get a second plaque about a year ago for new names. So some of the things that we do in the troop, service projects, service to the community, service to others is a key component of scouting. Some of the things that we do, I have listed here the Rotary Gala, right? You see us every May at the Gala. And since the Rotary went to the electronic payment system, there's been less for the Scouts to do at the Gala, but that's okay. But you know, we try to help carry things to cars and that kind of thing. And thank you again for allowing us to participate in the Gala. We make a significant amount of funds every year from that. Last year we auctioned off some reserved seating for the Memorial Day Parade. I think that was Mr. Morse's idea. It worked out really well. So at the Gala, we auctioned off a block of space on the curb right by the Scout cabin, and also a couple of reserved parking spaces right by the cabin. It was a lot of fun. We had coffee and donuts in the cabin for the folks who bought that, and they came and hung out with us for a little bit and then went and watched the parade in a prime spot. Every year we also get enlisted to help clean up after the ice cream social, which June, I believe that is. We go clean up after that. One of the things that we've been talking about is maybe trying to get back into doing some more service projects. So I have listed here some of the things that we've done in the past that were a lot of fun and people really enjoyed. We volunteered numerous times at the Akron Food Bank. A couple years ago, we planted tree saplings in the park on Earth Day, which was actually a lot of fun. And then we camped in the park after that, which was nice. A couple years ago, we also spent a day sorting and packing some kids' books with some folks up in Twinsburg, Bright Star Books, which was another good one. So a lot of folks often ask us, so what do you guys do with all this money that you raised? You know, we have this past year we put a lot of time into researching new backpacking packs. You guys want to grab those? So a lot of the boys over the years have said one of the things that they really, really want to do is more hiking, more backpacking, camping in the backwoods kind of a thing. But most guys don't have a really nice backpacking pack. And they're kind of expensive if it's something you're only going to do a couple of times. So what we did last year is, like I said, we spent a lot of time researching backpacks, went to some stores, did a lot of online reading. We landed on the brand of Osprey, which if you go out to Philmont Scout Ranch out in New Mexico or anywhere else that you'll see a lot of scouts, Osprey is a brand that you'll see a lot of. They make excellent, excellent gear. And the nice thing, one of the reasons we picked Osprey is they have a lifetime warranty, basically no questions asked, which is great for a Boy Scout troop, right? So if something happens to these in a couple of years, we can basically send it back to Osprey and they'll fix or replace them, which is fantastic. So we bought, I don't know, roughly a dozen or so packs in various sizes. We brought 3 different sizes here, and they've been in constant rotation basically since we bought them. We've been on a number of outings, and the boys and a couple of the adults have taken the packs out, and they work fantastically. We've got a contingent of guys going out to Philmont, which is the huge Boy Scout ranch in New Mexico. Some of these guys are going out there this summer, and they're going to be taking some of our troop backpacks, which is great. That is it for my slide deck. So the boys have prepared their own set of pictures. They're going to share with you some of what they've been up to in the past year.
So which one do we want?
Not that one.
All the way to the left.
That one?
Yeah, all the way to the left. Yep, that one. All right, now
That's mine.
go to Internet Explorer, and then to the slides tab. There you go. Thank you. How many times did you click it? Two if you want to go on the other side. There we go. This one?
I mean, if you're standing behind the lectern, that's fine.
Okay, we're gonna have 2 guys. Is it okay if we have 2 guys go over there?
Yeah,
Okay.
just make sure everybody's using a microphone.
Okay.
Grab that one, take it out.
So, hi guys. You just heard from our Scoutmaster, Mr. Searson, and then we're the Scouts of Boy Scout Troop 321. We're the ones that could make here. So again, there's 13 of us in our troop, but there's 3 Eagles here, and then we have a Life Scout that's about to be an Eagle. And I would say in a little bit. So that's pretty exciting. So this is our year in review from March. So that's the last time you saw us in February, all the way to present. So our first, I'll talk about this. So our first one in March was our aviation merit badge. And so one of the requirements around the end is actually flying a plane. It's not a required requirement, but it's like a choose 1, 2, or 3 requirement. And so we had the option from Tyler Wisbar, which used to be a Eagle Scout from our troop, then graduated. He actually went to flight school, and so he gave us the option to go to Wadsworth Airport and actually fly a plane. So that was all of us standing there because we got to fly the plane. These are just some really cool pictures, and after the instructor got us up, we could actually maneuver it a little bit, and he showed us what was going on and what the whole plane was about. So that was a really cool experience. Jason?
This was the New Scout campout. This is where we have all of the new scouts from the Cub Scout pack, and we just put them out in the wilderness, and we teach them how to camp. And so there's me in the cute little blue hoodie, helping cook. And this one, we actually didn't have any new scouts on the new scout camp out, but we still had a good time, and we all made it there, and we survived.
So this is the flower sale and the Rotary Gala. So the flower sale is one of our biggest things that we do during the troop, and it's one of my favorite things, actually. So every Mother's Day on that Saturday is that we put flowers out for like 6 hours and we sell them. And it's really beautiful when we get all the trucks, like here you can see where they all come out on carts, and then we take them all out, and then we line them up by color and what type of flower they are, and we get to sell them the next day. So I always enjoy doing that. I always enjoy seeing the people or old people from our troop that come back just to buy a basket of flowers. And so on the right there, that's our Rotary Gala. That's us after we're finished. That's a winner that we had for our 50-50 raffle. So when that comes in May, make sure you get those tickets, because you guys could be the winners. You don't know until you try. And so Spencer and I this summer actually went on the World Scout Jamboree. This was the visiting trip that they went for 2 days, but they were only in the Jamboree for 1 day. Spencer and I were in the Jamboree for 15 days in West Virginia. And so I thought this was, I wasn't here, but this was really cool views, and this is where they camped. They got to saw that. That's some food that they made. But so this was the actual Jamboree. So this was the first energy bridge that we had to take. So in the red tent, that was our campsite. That was campsite Alpha. And those were the red tents. And so we got to stay on those tents. There was Alpha all the way to Foxtrot and Echo. So that's like 6 campsites that was there. So this place is huge. It's gigantic. And so that's actually Spencer's and I's second time being there, because we were here for the National Jamboree 3 summers ago now. And so this was our second time being there for the World Scout Jamboree. So Spencer, wanted to explain this picture.
So that's like underneath the bridge where the last picture was. And what goes on down there is a lot of trading. So, like, we trade neckerchiefs down there, like this fancy one and the British one that Ben's got on. And this is when we met up with the guys from the one day. And they found me, and I had a milk jug in my backpack, just toting it around. And that's about it.
So, yeah, as you can see here, I have a whole bunch of, they call them neckers or neckerchiefs, but they call it neckers for short down there. And so that I have a couple. I think I had like 4 on in that picture. I ended with like 6 or something like that. Spencer has this normal one on because they weigh you down a little bit. But I just wanted to show them off in the picture. You know, I have to flex a little bit. So that was a really enjoyable process. And I met a lot of cool people, talked to a lot of cool people, had dinner with a lot of different people from different countries, and it was just a really enjoyable experience. That's just some other pictures. That was like a world stage. People were performing music. That was the scouts from our troop visiting. All the way to the right there was the big main stage. That's where the shows were. They had 3 shows hosted by each hosting country, so United States, Mexico, and Canada. And that was a big area where patch trading and necker trading happened all in here. And in there's a lot of information about the Jamboree. And there's some good food there also. Talk about this.
So in August, we went down to Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania, and we went on a whitewater rafting trip. My dad, Josh Herschel, was the host of that. We've been rafting there for many years, and this was the second time or was it the first time? This is the first time we took the scouts on it, but we have been rafting and kayaking up in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park and the Cuyahoga River. So in the whitewater rafting trip, it was a 2-day trip. We went and stayed the night before, and the day we went, you want to flip the slides? Flip the slides. So this is their group, Ben and Spencer, and a bunch of other boys from our troop came and was part of the Wilderness Voyagers rafting tour guide trip and whatnot. So they were going through the whole pack, and then me and my father down here, we were in our own boat riding along with them. So it was a good experience for the boys to get on a big river and have a whole day adventure down on the river. Yeah. And then this was my Eagle project. So my Eagle project was the Tinkers Creek Watershed Restoration Project at the Hudson High School. And when the Tinkers Creek Watershed did that project, they put up a signboard explaining the history of the project and why they did it, but nothing about what goes on in the watershed. So my project was to build a sign that explained the invasive species that were in the watershed and how to properly remove them. So this is in my garage. We got some boys helping cut wood. We got some adults running the power tools, and then Ben and Spencer measuring some of the posts for the legs. I mean, it was a whole couple-hour ordeal to actually get the sign built, and now that it's done, I'm pretty grateful that I had all the help to get that done, or otherwise it would have taken a lot more effort. And it's yours, yeah.
So this was my Eagle Scout project. This was done in, I think, like September, October around, because it was still nice out, as you can see. I missed that. But so was building 2 trash receptacles for the battered women's shelter, because my family and I usually donated there a lot. And I was like, well, you know, when you get your Eagle Scout project, you don't get assigned one. You can pick. Like, it's all the only requirement is making the community better from your project. So that's a pretty broad statement. And so since I donated usually gifts there during Christmas time or holiday times, that I really wanted to give something back. So I met with a couple people from there, and they were like, well, what's happening is that there's trash cans in our area, but since they're so noticeable, people just usually either overflow it, or they take it, or they go through it. And so they were like, if you could make a container for it so that it doesn't look as obvious, that would be really helpful. So as these are completely made out of wood, that's them cutting it, that's them screwing it together, and so this is what that's what the final result was. I was very happy of it. The woman which I gave it to when I delivered it, she was extremely grateful, and actually my Court of Honor, which is celebrating my Eagle Scout achievement, is coming up in March, and so she's actually going to be coming there, and I'm really excited to see her again and say, just thank you for the great opportunity that you gave me for this Eagle Scout project.
So this is my Eagle Scout project. I'm not going to talk about it nearly as much as Ben did. So what mine was I built 2 of those raised garden beds, as you can see there, for Hattie Larlam. Do you guys all know Hattie Larlam? Yeah. So I built 2 raised garden beds for their community homes, which are just like any home, like out anywhere, and they just have some people there that they work with, and so. Built those, and I chose Hattie Larlam because I used to go to the restaurant downtown when it was open as a kid, so I just thought that'd be a cool thing to do for them.
Oops. I did not go with this.
Jason, you were on this.
So this was our first real hiking and backpacking trip that we've taken a troop as long as I've been here, which is a couple years. And so we went down up to Pennsylvania in Oil Creek National Park, and we had about a 15-mile hike over 2 days. We had an overnighter, and you see we went on the train tracks, and we went through the different trails, and it was really fun, and we just had all of our stuff on our back that we needed, and it was just all there.
So as Mr. Searson said, those backpacks from the funds that we raised, those backpacks were used on that trip, and they were used very well. And we had backpacks before that, which didn't really live up to those standards. So these backpacks are really helpful for backpacking. We can talk about that.
Okay. So this, we went, none of us actually present here were on this trip for that. This was more for the younger boys. Well, it wasn't for that. It just happened to be that the younger boys were the only ones that were able to go on that trip that day. So they went to the Goodyear blimp hangar, thanks to Mr. Pulte. He got us go in there and see one of the very few blimps that are running around Akron in these days. So they went and took a big tour of the Goodyear blimp, and I believe they had a auction to see who could spend a night in the blimp, or it was kind of like a hotel room kind of deal, whatever it was there. So as you can bottom here, you can see there's a bunch of Cub Scouts from Troop 3321, and a bunch of the boys from Troop 321 went to the hangar, toured the blimp, and actually got to see it in person, which is a pretty incredible feat to see something that massive up close. I don't know what else there is to say.
So after the summer months that we can't really go outside, we stay inside. So this was November, and so that was the Halloween. That's Brian, a person in our troop, and Mr. Searson brought in a skeleton and put his hat on it, so I thought that was pretty funny. But so we had a short little cook-off, so that's Spencer and I making our world's famous peach cobbler in that Dutch oven over there. And so you'll see another picture about how beautiful it turned out in December. But I'm so proud of making Dutch oven meals. But so this was just a little meeting that I just want to include some pictures on. So this was a bowling night that we always have in our troop. And so Nathan was our winner this year. So a little disappointed, but you know, it could have been me, but it wasn't. But it's fine, it's fine. And so we do this during the winter months. And so we just go out and bowl together. It's like a bowling fun night. So this is the winter feast. I think everyone has a little something to say about this. And so this was our cobbler that we made. Doesn't that look good? I know it does. And so that night, or this camp out, this is my favorite camp out. Why? Because we don't have to do any of the work. So we always have one camp out each year, and the adults do all of the cooking, and they make wonderful meals for us. And it's not, you know, hamburgers or mac and cheese like we usually have at camp outs. It's usually like, look at that chicken, like that looks good. So it's really enjoyable. I love doing it. And so a big part of this is that we have our Wii bowling tournament. And so what that is we bring a Wii. And so since it's like our camp out, we can really do what we want. We mostly just play Wii. We actually went on a really cool hike this time, and we hiked through Manitowoc, and we found some places that we haven't been before. But this was a big deal because this is our like third year of doing this. So Nathan won that again. I don't know. I guess he's just really good at bowling. So the finals were against Nathan and me, and he won the Winking Lizard wet napkin, which was the winner prize, which I provided. I know it wasn't a cash prize, but it was still pretty good. And so if you guys want to say anything else about this, like any fun stories you have.
Yeah. So mentioning the hike Ben was talking about earlier, we actually went back behind Lake Litchfield and we saw the old Camp Manitowoc, the old flagpole, the old dining hall, the old parade field itself, and that was pretty cool as I've never been back there that far. And as it was in the winter, it was in December, so none of the leaves were there. So when you're standing where the old flagpole was or where the old dining hall was, you can see through the trees and you can actually see kind of what the layout of the camp would have looked like there, the open field where the old parade field would have been, how you could see the flagpole from that parade field. And it was a pretty cool experience to just go back there and see something. I've never been there before. Even though I've been to Camp Manitowoc for 7 years now, this was just something completely new for me, and I believe all the other scouts as well.
So in January we had the cooking merit badge, which is Eagle required. So it's very important that a scout gets it, and we usually like it because we make food. And in this picture, we made tacos, and so all the boys prepared it, and they chopped up the onions and roasted the meat, and then so after that was all cooked, we just had a nice little dinner. And so it was our second dinner, and that's usually our favorite month is our cooking merit badge month.
There's some more, and then they won on a cooking merit badge camp out, which they then it's required that you make 4 meals: a breakfast, lunch, a dinner, and a on-trail meal. So that's the 4 meals that are required for the merit badge, along with like first aid, safety, what cooking is, you know, everything about that. So this is what Jason was talking about is an Eagle required merit badge. So there's 13 of them that you need to get Eagle, and so this is one of them. And so any Eagle Scouts that you see, like Nathan, Spencer, and I, we all had to get the same merit badges. So we all have the same knowledge about 13 different merit badges. So this was one of them. And so this was the cooking merit badge camp out, which some of the new scouts went on to work on their cooking merit badge, since all of us obviously have it since we've been in the troop for about 4 years now. But so they went to a new camp at 7 ranges. Was that what it was called? Yeah, 7 ranges. And so this was new. None of us have ever been here before. It looks pretty cool, and we might go there next time in the troop meeting.
Okay, so this is this month. We haven't done this. Well, we did this, but okay. So every February we have a blast car thing that we do, which is where you take a block of wood, you put some wheels on, and you put a CO2 canister in the back and shoot it along a fishing line. And it goes pretty quick, and it's pretty cool. So there's some pictures of us. We just had a workshop recently where we went to one of the parents' garages, and we worked with some of the Cub Scouts, too, that came. They built their own blast cars, and we cut it out, and just get a good shape for it, yeah.
I think that's it. So yeah, that is it. Do you guys have any questions or any comments for us? Because we can answer them. Oh, okay. Then that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good job, good job. So you'll notice we brought some of our gear on the table over here. The boys after the meeting, I'm sure, would be glad to explain some of this stuff and show off what we've got. So at this time, I'm going to turn over the floor to Mr. Brian Craven. Brian is the Cub Master of Cub Pack 3321.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. As mentioned, I am Brian Craven. I'm the current Cub Master at the Cub Pack that you guys are our chartering organization. With me, if you just step forward a little bit, guys. I got two of my boys here. This is Colin Craven and Declan Craven. This fella right here is what we now call an Arrow of Light Scout, which is the second year of Webelos. He is crossing over into the troop on the 22nd, and Declan is a bear, so he has a couple more years yet to go before he's ready to cross over. And before I dive into what we have going on with the Cub Pack, I just want to speak for a minute about the program itself and what Boy Scouts is, or Scouts BSA. You just had these four boys from the troop up front speaking at a level that adults typically would speak at. Seasoned, comfortable, and it really says a lot, one, about their families, but then also about the program that they're involved with. I see it in my own older son, who couldn't be here today, but he's now first class, so he's about halfway on his path to Eagle. And I've watched him through Tiger, Cub, first grade on up, and it's amazing how much different these boys are than their peers in terms of their confidence and their abilities. So as a program and as individuals, it's just fantastic. So I think it's a very worthwhile organization for you guys to support. So thank you for that. On to the Cub Pack. So just a little introductory information about me. I've been there for 6 years. I presented to you guys last year. So I've had quite a long run there. At this point in time, it's about appropriate for me to move on to the troop as a leader. I've been an assistant scoutmaster there for a year now, and with Mr. Searson being in a position where he no longer has a son in the troop, I'll be assuming that role of scoutmaster, which vacates the position of Cub Master in our troop. And so our future Cub Master as of March 1st will be Mike Forst. He's been a den leader for us for the past 4 years. He'll be excellent in that role as well. We have a committee chair in Regina Donovan, who's been in that role for 3 years now, and she's provided excellent support and will continue to for a couple more years. Our Tiger Den is led by Brett Teacher. Our Wolf Den is led by Jeff Adamson, who is an excellent youth-facing leader. Gordon Harwell has signed up this year as our Bear Den leader, and Hunter Chin is assuming the role of our Webelos Den leader in Mike's absence as Cub Master then. The main change we've had this year has been the increase in interaction with the troop, which has been immensely beneficial for us to kind of refresh our program a little bit, and also to unburden us adults who are involved in leading, because we do everything, unlike in the troop where it's youth-led. The adults are the leaders and doers in the Cub Pack, and so having these guys who have energy come in, help us teach the kids things or perform some event or activity has been really, really beneficial, and it's tied the units together so that we're now seeing a full Arrow of Light Den that's crossing over into Troop 321. And I'll talk a little bit more about that briefly. What you see in these two pictures is a requirement for the Webelos called Cast Iron Chef, where they use the Dutch ovens to cook and camp cooking in general. And we had a couple of these guys come into that den and show them how to cook rather than just have the adults do it. And what it does for our Webelos when we do that is get them more comfortable with the idea of entering into the troop. One of the hardest things for the youth to stay in Scouts is when they go from the adult-led and run unit of Cub Scouts onto Scouts BSA, and then they get exposed to having to be more responsible and more active on their own, taking instruction from other youth, and older youth who are, quite honestly, to maybe a 5th grader, 6th grader, a little bit intimidating, as opposed to a friendly adult who may even be their parent. There's nothing wrong with these guys, but it's a big difference for them, and it can be hard for them to get through that first year where it's a very, very different program. So doing this is helping them get comfortable with those guys. It's also helping them understand that, you know, it doesn't always have to be an adult that shows you something new. So in terms of our membership, we have 5 Tiger Scouts this year, 9 Wolves, 4 Bear. Our Webelos 1 den is at 11, and we are crossing 7 over. So as we go into rechartering, we'll carry 29 through the spring and then into fall recruitment. I won't go through each and every one of these things, and it's certainly not comprehensive either. We have a great variety of different things for the kids to do through the years to expose them to various activities, outdoors and indoors. It's because we have fun things as well. There's just bowling or things that the council sponsors, like going to the pumpkin chunkin' where they launch pumpkins with catapults, which is hilarious. We have some service projects in here as well. So at the top of the list there, around Christmas, we got some of the donation boxes from Toys for Tots, and we had a toy drive to fill these. I think there were 3 of these very large, size of this podium boxes. We support the PTO with their pancake breakfast. We do cleanup there, and we also will do some park cleanup through the year, so we have some conservation-oriented service as well. And then we've got the main, I guess, core events that every Cub Pack has, and the Pinewood Derby, which they all love, and it's always probably the biggest thing we do in a year, as well as our Blue and Gold Banquet. And for us in Hudson, it's very nice that we have the Memorial Day Parade. Every year we get as many of our scouts as we can possibly muster for the parade. And the boys love marching in that. We build these Cub cars, as you can see on the far right, far right to you. The bear dens typically put those together, and the boys will push that through the parade. Our Webelos went out to residence camp this past year. It's a 3-day, 3 overnight camp out where they start getting exposed to things that are somewhat more, I like to use the word scouty, but they have the wall tents they stay in. They do similar things to what the older guys do at their merit badges at camp. They serve in the dining hall, and it's just a really nice time for them to be apart from the rest of the world and just do something that's enjoyable. We had overnights at both the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo and the aquarium as well. They actually got to stay in that tunnel that you can walk through underneath all the water. It's a really neat place to be. We also had a trip to the Goodyear hangar when they were finalizing this new blimp that they just had. It's the Wingfoot 3. So we had a nice tour of that facility, and the boys got to see something kind of unusual. You can't quite see it in the picture, but they actually had all of the helium out of the blimp in these huge bags. They're like 4 stories tall. They're pretty impressive. Okay, no. So just again, you can see several events that we have through the year. Coming up is our normal battery of things like the Blue and Gold Pinewood Derby. New thing that we'll be doing this summer is going to the Buffalo Naval Park where they can stay overnight on a Navy ship. Really neat thing. And the boys, of course, here in the cabin, we really like to focus this on the awards and advancement so that the boys get a sense of actually getting something out of the program and a sense of pride in themselves for achieving something. So again, I thank you guys for supporting our unit. Thank you.
so much. Thank you guys. Guys, we're running a little bit short on time today, so I'm just gonna ask the one question, and I'm gonna ask the boys, can you stay around for a little bit afterward in case some of the Rotarians like to ask you some questions? But I have a question for the young guys. So I was so glad that to learn that you guys are interacting with the older boys. And I just want, you can just, nod your head yes or no, but I mean, I sense that you really like working with the older guys and, I mean, you really look up to them, you admire them, and I hope you guys, you older guys, realize what a responsibility is and how important that is to, to foster that sort of connection.